Hi everyone, I'm Nayab, your local engineer. On this channel we talk about everything from engineering to corporate life, and today I'll be talking about how you can learn from every job, even a bad one, and particularly the bad ones. I'll start by being honest, not every job is great, and it's rarely ever where you find a job that's such a perfect fit to you that you want to stay there for a lifetime. And for most jobs, they come and we carry on with them in life as lessons rather than an award or a reward or a rewarding situation. And every engineer I know has had most jobs that they do not enjoy, and after many iterations of going through in and out of work into different roles and different opportunities, that they finally become satisfied in the role that they're in. And so today I'll be giving you 5 lessons on things you can learn from every job, even a bad one. So let's get started. Lesson number 1 is that you can learn what you don't want. And I think this is a crucial lesson which we can take away from almost every situation. But in a job situation and being in one that you don't particularly like, you can always learn what you don't like. From jobs which I've had, particularly a call center, which I was in a call center for 1.5 years, and what I can tell you is I never want to work in a call center again. People are very difficult when you're on the other side of the phone trying to guide them through a process. And despite being in that job for 1.5 years for the sake of the salary, a good reasonable salary, what I learned was I don't want to have to meet KPIs. I don't want to have targets on hitting sales commitments or having to talk to customers over the phone. Those were 3 things that I learned, and it took me 1.5 years to learn. And whilst I transitioned from that role to another one, I learned that what kind of management I like, what kind of sales managers I like, what a good sales manager looks like, and what good sales looks like. So learning from all these things, I learned what I want and I learned what I don't want, what I like and what I don't like. And these are things which you can pick up from any job, and you can learn from any of them. Even if you're in a job you absolutely dread, like let's say hospitality. No offense to anyone who enjoys working hospitality, but I've heard more cases where people dread working hospitality than they like it. But you can always learn what kind of jobs you like doing as part of hospitality. Maybe you like cleaning the forks and dishes, and maybe you don't like serving. You can learn the different things you don't like and then niche down on what you do like and build those skills up further to take you in and elaborate on them in the future, and maybe work more on them and growing them, and maybe have more of them as part of your future skill set. Working in a call center and working in hospitality teaches you to work with people, and it can particularly teach you how to work with difficult people. And that's lesson number 2, to learn how to work with difficult people, whether that's managers, whether that's co-workers, whether that's actually the customers you're dealing with. You learn how to deal with difficult situations, because unless you're put in them, how can you know how to deal with them? And first of all, it makes you resilient. It makes you so resilient when you're working in a call center to feedback, to people swearing on the phone, to people saying they hate your services, they hate your products, they never want to shop from you again. And in some cases, in sensitive call centers, people even have situations where they're dealing with suicide calls. And as a person, it makes you more resilient to feedback, which as an engineer you apply daily. You don't want to take anything personally. It's not a dig at you, it's a dig at the sales script. It's a dig at the environment you're in or the food that you're serving. It's nothing personal to you. It makes you bulletproof. You can learn how to stay calm, and it improves your communication as well. So one thing working for 1.5 years at a call center did for me is improve my communication like crazy. I used to stutter and I used to be nervous when I used to talk to people, but because of working at a call center, what I can say is I know how to make small talk. I can get my point across really well, and I can talk to people for the fun of it. My job became more fun when I started enjoying the calls and I started learning about the customer on the phone, how I can help them. Just having a small reframes in your mindset really makes you enjoy your job a bit more. Not to say that every job will completely transform if you have a mindset shift, but it does teach you that you can communicate with other people and you can learn how to deal with difficult people. And in the future, let's say you go into a job you really like, the role itself you absolutely adore, but you have a difficult manager. Now you have those communication skills which have been equipped at that past job you didn't like so much and you absolutely dreaded, but you have at least one component of your professional life which you're enjoying now, and the other part of it that you're not enjoying as much, you've learned how to deal with it as well. So you can always learn how to deal with difficult people from these jobs as well that you absolutely dread. Lesson number 3, even if you don't enjoy it all, maybe there's small wins you can find throughout the day, and you can find small wins at any job. When I worked in retail, I used to find small wins by looking through the system and seeing how their data was organized. So I had access to their tills, and I just used to see how the data flows from one thing to the other, how the customer's account information is passed in, and we did have access to all this, so I was allowed to do it. And similarly, another small win would be I'd just go organize a section of the store. That's my small win of the day, and make it look nice. And these small wins as an engineer can be just creating documentation for a project, automating a process, fixing an application which was broken that no one's using, updating .NET packages. That's one task that no one likes doing, but you can do it. And these small wins create those little wins for you, those little professional stacks that you can build up over time. Upgrading .NET packages, when I first started off as an engineer, this never got pushed to prod. It never saw daylight. for what I did, but I did it and it taught me how to upgrade .NET packages. I learned something out of it, and I take that forward now when I'm an actual engineer and in a position to contribute to the team, and I can ask my manager, like, if he suggests that I want you to upgrade these, I want these packages upgraded, I can say as a junior, can I try and upgrade them? It puts you in that position to be able to put yourself forward, build those small skills. When I was in retail, I'd have the goal of speaking to 3 customers a day and getting to know their preferences on what kind of jewelry they want. And there's no particular reason why a customer would want to speak to me, but I just really enjoyed it. Talking to them about jewelry just made me more passionate and actually want to be there at my job. And also made the workday go a bit faster. So that's a small win as well. You can just learn small wins here and there, and it takes you that much further in enjoying your job, and you can learn from it as well, and learn the kind of skills you enjoy and have some backup skills that you can use at your next job, which will make you 10 times better at your next job. Number 4, and the lesson that I enjoyed the most, was to learn how companies and businesses work. Maybe this is not for everyone, but I personally love seeing organizational structures, and I love businesses and business structures, B2B, B2C, and how companies are laid out, whether that's pyramid, whether that's a flat structure. I love seeing all of it, and I didn't know this was a legitimate thing until I read books afterwards, when I joined the corporate world. But beforehand, when I was working in retail, I loved seeing how the management was laid out, and sometimes in your HR systems you can see the management structures, which I used to love seeing. I used to see like who's reporting to who, and the reason I enjoyed this is because once you know an organization structure, you can work with that to see what kind of people you'd be interested in working with, who you could potentially learn from, and what they're doing, and what roles are involved in different organizations. And maybe if one day you're looking to start a business, it even encourages you to know what kind of people you'd want to hire. There are some people in the business that you don't even know they exist. I didn't know what a crow analyst was, and I still feel a bit unconfident in saying what they actually do, but I met a crow analyst because I was looking at the HR list, and I just messaged them like, what do you do? And they told me what they do in the business, which was all this analytics and optimization of the websites and the customer pages. But I just thought it was fascinating, and to know that people like that exist in the business, and sometimes you never see them because they don't work on site. Those are things you can also get in, and if one day you start a business, now you know you have all these extra roles to consider. Whilst considering these extra roles, you might think that this workplace is absolutely horrible and there's so many people here, but I'm the only one not enjoying it. And from roles where I was in that position, what I can say is your worth is not directly proportional or associated to the workplace that you're in. This teaches you to separate your self-worth from the job that you're in. The reason being, first of all, I think self-worth is a very intrinsic thing, and it shouldn't be associated with things like your job, because those are very temporary things. Your job can change, your role can change. Separating your self-worth from it makes you confident within yourself and gives you a higher self-esteem as well as a result. And it teaches you that you can just enjoy your job for the sake of having a job. It doesn't have to be something that's a permanent stamp on your personality and for the rest of your life. A job can come and go. Maybe this is just a temporary job that you're not enjoying a phase of life. It's not permanent, it's not stuck to you. It's a sticker, not a tattoo. And because you hate this job so much, you can learn from these jobs when it's time to leave and how to do it in a good way. When you work in retail, especially in the city centre, you'll know that those shops you might actually want to shop at again, but you don't want to quit in an abrupt way or a horrible way where you just walk out through the door. As unprofessional, we don't want to be setting those standards. We're professionals over here. We want to be setting nice standards and getting people to want to interact with us. The whole point of this channel is to tell you that soft skills are equally as important as your technical skills, and you need to work on being a nice person as well, and to write those leaving notices and to give those messages and be nice to your co-workers. All of those things matter, because when you go back into the shop, you want to not be embarrassed and actually be able to shop there without feeling embarrassed. So you learn how to say goodbye and how to leave these places gracefully so that they're not a wall for your future. You want to leave it as an open door as well. Sometimes a workplace is so good that they ask you, like, you leave it gracefully despite you hating it. They might ask you to come back and improve the work conditions for you. Many times engineers I work with have left the workplace, and because they left so gracefully and the work they did was excellent, they've been called back, and in their second time coming back to the business, they enjoy it way more because they feel valued and respected and cherished as part of the workplace they're in. So despite all these difficult roles, what they teach you is actually, first of all, they build career capital for you. In the book The Defining Decade, the author talks about how if you're just doing random odd jobs and everything, all these skills will compound and eventually give you career capital, which will lead you into a role which you actually enjoy and has some significance into your future as well, and you can see yourself playing out with it. Many times people even come up with their own roles after doing all of these little roles that don't seem as important. Everything compounds in life, especially the good things and even the bad things sometimes. So you should learn how long you can put up with a role that you don't enjoy as much, but hopefully still learn along the way, because we're all here for the learning and enjoying it all. And all I can say is I hope you keep learning and get through any hard situation you're in. For career advice and junior developer strategies and fun stuff all about that, that's in my newsletter, which you can subscribe to down below, and there's a lot of other resources as well that are linked down below that I hope you use. I'd also recommend reading The Defining Decade as part of like your early careers and knowing how you can make the most of your early 20s and especially your career and the professional side of things. And comment down below what's one thing you learned from a job that you hate, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.